Hey everyone, today might be one of the tensest checkpoints K-pop's had all year. We've got HYBE's chairman hit with a travel ban while police continue digging into IPO-era share dealings. NewJeans versus ADOR just failed mediation. Again, and the court sets an October 30th ruling. Blackpink are marching through stadiums while the album deadline window closes in. Aespa drop a rock-tilted title that split the timeline. And Lisa's dream has fans reading meanings between every frame. Let's unpack what actually happened, why it matters, and what we'll likely see before Halloween. Remember the July 24th raid on HYBE's Yongsan HQ over alleged unfair share trading tied to the 2020 IPO. That story didn't fade. It escalated. In the last 48 hours, multiple outlets reported Bang Si-hyuk has been barred from leaving South Korea while police continue their investigation. The detail that stood out: this follows September questioning sessions, twice in the second half of the month, suggesting investigators are well into the weeds now. Inside the fandom bubble, the travel ban headline did two things at once. First, it spiked anxiety. If the chair can't leave the country, the case clearly hasn't cooled. Second, it tempered some speculation. A travel ban doesn't equal guilt. It's a precaution in ongoing white-collar probes. Still, for a listed entertainment giant, optics matter as much as outcomes. Investors, partners, even festival bookers read this as heightened regulatory pressure. And that ripples across the entire roster. The HYBE line remains what it's been since summer: cooperate fully and let the facts speak. For fans, the practical question is simpler. Does this touch artist schedules? Right now, day-to-day promotions are moving. The machine didn't stop. But until there's formal prosecutorial action or a clear exoneration, expect every boardroom move to get dissected like a teaser frame. Fair or not, trust becomes a business asset. And that's what HYBE will be trying to stabilize all autumn. What to watch next? Look for any follow-up summons this month and whether regulators expand the scope beyond IPO-era mechanics. If a prosecutor referral becomes a formal charge, prepare for earnings call fireworks and a fresh round of governance talk. If not, HYBE will push to restore confidence before Q4 results. We've lived with this story all year, but the timeline finally got a hard date. After two failed mediation attempts in September, one of which reportedly ended in under half an hour, the court signaled it will rule on October 30. That decision will decide whether NewJeans are bound to ADOR under existing terms or have legal grounds to exit. The fan mood is split and tired. Some argue the members' filings and emotional statements were necessary to be heard. Others believe metaphors and press-era rhetoric may have backfired in a system that runs on contract clauses, not catharsis. What isn't up for debate? The stakes. A ruling that upholds ADOR's exclusivity keeps the group under the current corporate umbrella, with all the interpersonal repair work that implies. A ruling that grants relief throws open new management scenarios that would need months to operationalize. One thing I'm watching: if the court sides with ADOR, what does returning to normal look like in practice? You don't reset a year of public conflict overnight. There'd have to be trusted intermediaries, internal guardrails, maybe even independent ombuds around schedules and mental health. Not as PR, but as working conditions. If the court sides with the members, that doesn't teleport them to a comeback either. You still need new representation, music plans, branding, and a risk-managed way to persuade sponsors and broadcasters that the dust has truly settled. Either way, October 30th is a beginning, not an ending. What to watch next? Any pre-ruling hints via court calendars? Whether both sides temper public comments to avoid prejudicing the decision? And post-ruling, how fast a practical roadmap appears. On paper, 2025 is the most Blackpink thing ever. A full group world tour back at the Apex, and a public target to release the group's new album by November at the latest. In practice, this is a high-wire act that's working precisely because the sequence is tour first, album next. The new single Jump did its job as a tour launch anthem. Stages are sharp, Venues are mega, the clips are feeding the algorithm city by city, but clocks are loud in Q4. Fans don't need a day or a track count to stay hyped. They need visible milestones, MV shoot leaks, snippet teasers, jacket photos that clearly belong to a new era, not just tour merch visuals. The promise YG made, by November at the latest, is a line in the sand. Stick the landing, and you've got a holiday season stranglehold. Slip it, and the narrative shifts from smart sequencing to, is the album stuck? My read, the plan still makes sense. Keep the stadium optics roaring. Roll a second pre-release in late October if necessary. Then drop the project inside the promised window. If the format is a mini, you buy agility while on the road. If it's full, you swallow a bigger logistics bite but own year-end lists. Either way, we'll know this month if MV set whispers start hitting fan accounts. What to watch next? Local sightings of MV crews, regulatory filings from YG that sometimes telegraph schedule locks, and, crucially, how the set list morphs on the Asia leg. When new songs sneak in live, the drop isn't far behind. Aespa's sixth mini landed with a bold stylistic tilt, guitars, grit, and a chorus that drills a single hook until it's either an earworm or an eye roll, depending on your tolerance. Reviews have been split. Some praise the rock texture and energy. Others call the title track a cool production with not enough writing around the hook. Either way, the song did what title tracks are supposed to do in 2025. Get talked about. From a strategy perspective, this is not a miss. It's a positioning play. The group's reputation for high-gloss cyberpop needed a different color on the palette. Going rock-leaning while keeping the SM sheen gets you editorial looks and festival credibility. The weak point, if you're nitpicking, is melodic variation. The strong point is identity, the confidence to carry a chorus with attitude instead of line distribution gymnastics. What to watch next? Which B-side becomes the fan-elevated title? There's always one. And whether the next era keeps the guitar lane or folds it back under synths. If the metrics say the live crowd loves the crunch, expect more distortion, fewer fillers on the follow-up. A month later, threads are still spinning about Dream, the 5-minute short film starring Lisa and Kentaro Sakaguchi. The final image, scattering ashes into a lake under a canopy of trees, wasn't just a twist. It reframed the entire album arc as a story about acceptance. The reason it won't leave the timeline is simple. It's cinema first, MV second. Minimal dialogue, tactile blocking, and a camera that trusts faces to do the heavy lifting. Every time a fan essay goes viral, it pulls new listeners back through alter ego to hunt for breadcrumbs. That's the payoff of closing an era with a film. It keeps the conversation warm through Q4 without needing a remix EP. If you're mapping Lisa's solo trajectory, Dream wasn't a detour. It was a mission statement about the kinds of stories she wants to tell on screen and on stage.